Women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jackie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, we are honoring someone on our team that I'm very excited about because she works in the background with Women of the Channel and many of our other programs. So I'm thrilled to introduce you to Kim Briggs, Strategic Account Director with the Channel Company. Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much for having me. Excited for
Well,
this.
oh yes, me too. I'm really excited to get to know you better. We work closely together, but I always like, things like these interviews gets, the opportunity to learn even more that you didn't know. So we'll dive right in. Where do you live and where did you grow up if that's different?
I live in Waltham, Massachusetts. I've been there for about 15 years, but I was born in New York City,
See, I didn't know that.
and have been in many places since in between.
Awesome. Well, what is a little known fact about you that you don't mind sharing?
Well, just that I have moved around a lot. So I've lived in, I think, 9 different states. Many of them when I was young, growing up. My father was in sales, and we traveled a lot, or he traveled a lot, and we moved a lot. I've lived in the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, the South, Kansas, as far as Kansas goes. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Maybe that's one of the many reasons we get along so well because I've moved around a lot too.
Have you? Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. All right. Well, tell me a little bit about your career path and how you reached the position that you're in today.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I in the sense that I did not go to school or train or anything to be a salesperson. I actually went to school and got a degree in psychology. I actually have a master's degree in psychology and did that for many years, counseling and working with underserved populations and communities. And then I had some friends and my sister-in-law and a cousin that were all in New York City, and they were doing ad sales. And so I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. Always wanted to live in New York, or in the area, work in the city. So got it my first job at Ziff Davis selling back a book advertisements at PC Week, which then went to eWeek and now is no longer. But yeah, that's where I started. And there's a lot of similarities in sales with psychology and just being a
Mm,
good listener when you're talking with your customers, understanding more of what they're not saying sometimes than what they are saying. So just an interesting trajectory and difference, what I went to school for, where I am today. But yeah.
yeah, but I could totally see how those skills are useful. And here we are, like 3 minutes in, and I've already learned like two or three things that I didn't know about you. So, all right, Kim, who are some individuals who inspired you in your journey?
There's been a lot. Like I've been at the channel company now, this will be my 24th year, right? But it's one of those things, I'll say that working with so many different people and the job has, if you're open to change, right, then you could be
Hmm.
doing something for 24 years, but it's not the same thing for the whole 24 years, right? So I think, with the channel company, we've evolved so much over the time that I've been here, and my job has changed, with it over that time. It's never felt like I've had the same job for 24 years. And so I think, one of the lessons that I've learned from some of the people that I've worked with and mentors is if you're open to change, then you can grow and you can evolve and things become, new and fresh and not the same old same. People think, oh my God, you've been doing this job for 24 years. I'm like, well, except that it's not the same job for 24 years. So I think, some of the folks that I've worked with, I've had, one of my first bosses, Susan Piankos, Cosbar, who's a stalwart in this industry. She's been in many different places and actually just retired, much deserved and well-earned retirement. She was a mentor of mine and really led by example.
Mm,
She was one of those people that you never really, she didn't tell you to do something and then did something totally different herself. Like she really talked the talk, walked the walk, as we say. And I learned so much from her. And again, like just taking little nuggets from every single person that you've worked with. I had the pleasure of Lisa McKenzie, who we, a huge, leader in our women of the channel community. She was my boss for a few years, and I learned a ton working with her. Totally different perspective, than Susan, right? So I've been able to get nuggets from her that I carry with me. And now my boss is Christina Zabatos. Again, it's interesting. She and I started, she was my outside rep, I was her inside rep. We worked together for many years. Then we were peers for many years, and now she's been, that rhymed. And then she's now been my boss for probably 10 years now. And again, someone with just lots of just totally different ways that she leads and manages. And so I've been able to get, nuggets from her as well throughout the years working with her. So it's, just been a great, I've been very lucky that I've had a lot of female bosses and leaders. I've had some men bosses and leaders as well that I've learned quite a bit about from as well. But I would say those for the purposes of the Women of the Channel Leadership Network, right? I would say those, I would call out some of those three for sure as being key leaders that I've learned from and have helped me, have really fought for me, helped me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say forced me to change, but in a good way, right? In the sense of
Yeah.
growing
Yeah.
and evolving. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
been
I
really
love
lucky.
everything that you have said. Just like being, open to change. And yes, you've been in, the majority of your career has been here, but you've had many different opportunities. Love that you had 3 female
Strong leaders. Yeah.
strong leaders to call out there too. And like you said, like taking the nuggets that, resonated with you. And I know for me, you've definitely inspired me. And I'm sure, it's a little mix of who led you and what you've added to that.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right. Well, what are some experiences or transformational moments that you've had in your life?
Yeah. It kind of goes back to the earlier conversation about how we, moved around a lot. Always having to make new friends and set up new communities, right? Where you are, in the new place. And, kind of makes you a little resilient, as you probably know.
Yeah.
And which is very well suited for sales, quite frankly. You need to be pretty resilient. And I would say that, because we did that when I was younger and even in an adolescent and even in my early adulthood, right? I did that a lot even on my own as an adult. Um, when an opportunity came to my door that, hey, you still have a job at the channel company, but we're moving, your territory is changing from, mid-Atlantic and New York, New Jersey area to, New England, and we really need you to be in New England to do the job. I didn't have to think twice. Like I knew I could do it. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm moving to New England and I'm going to take this job. And it led to, I think a lot of, I think I got a lot of good visibility within the organization of like, hey, what a trooper. She's willing to pack up and move to the new place. I actually ended up getting a promotion and a raise, within the year. So it was one of those things where my background and my resilience from that I had acquired from all that moving, when it was an opportunity, I didn't even have to think twice. It was like, yep, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a really interesting moment, aha moment for me when I was like, wow, this really worked out well. And
Yeah.
I've been in New
Yeah.
England for the last 15 years, so in
So you
Massachusetts.
must
So
like it.
I love it.
Yeah. No, that's true. I love that. And you're right. Like having that experience only benefited you because change is hard. We all know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But having those experiences.
But if you embrace it, it can really do good things for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that, Kim. Thank you so much for being here with me today, allowing us to get to know you a little better, and letting us celebrate you as our Woman of the Week this week.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoy it. And I thank you very much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely my pleasure. Community members, please do give Kim high fives, comment, share your insights and your experiences, and let's continue the conversation because it was not meant to end here. So until next time, have an amazing week.
Thanks. Thanks, Jackie. Bye-bye.